If you're going to influence society, you must be the leader in that area. And when we talk about leadership, one of the things that we are running into from time to time is a historical problem. We are all suffering from miseducation. We have been educated right out of our own self. We have been trained to not trust ourselves. We've been conditioned not to believe ourselves. And we've been specially brainwashed to never know ourselves. And this is a reality in our region. That's because our history is a history of oppression. Oppression is designed to devalue the oppressed. Oppression's goal is to break the spirit of the oppressed. What does one mean when one says break your spirit? This concept of breaking the spirit of a person means that you control their thinking until they surrender. That's breaking their spirit. As long as somebody is willing to fight, their spirit is not broken. But when a person surrenders to the context or the environment or to the powers that be and decide, I'm not fighting anymore, I have to accept what is, that person's spirit is broken. And, of course, the oppressor has succeeded. This has happened to us in the Caribbean. Most of us hate to admit it, don't want to even know it. And the saddest part of it is we are suffering from it and don't know. Broken spirits. So we have come to agree with the history of oppression that we are not capable of leadership. And that leadership is only reserved for an elite group of people who are definitely different from we are, and they are chosen somehow by the gods to be superior to us. And so we have surrendered to that context. And they even remind us to, read my lips, stay in your place. You know your place, they say. This concept is real. It still is real in your country right now. We don't talk about it. As a matter of fact, I sense it many times myself because I travel through this area of the world. There are people who would assume that I sit second class. Many times my wife and I would walk up to the airport, in some airports, and they call for first class, and we step up. And the person would repeat, I said first class. And the implication is you cannot be first class on an aircraft going from here to Zurich, Switzerland. That's the assumption. They look at my pigmentation and they assume. I think you misunderstood the announcement, they said. Well, that happens here in your hotels, in your banks, in your insurance companies. It's still happening, where people wonder, what are you doing here? Problem is, you and I have accepted that unconsciously. So when we talk about we having a leadership series, most of the people stay home because they are still controlled by the oppressive idea that leadership is only for an elite group of people who are specially gifted And I, who am just a normal person, average person, that is not for me. This is a satanic concept that you're thinking. Because the entire reason why you were created is leadership. I've been trying to convince you of that for 29 years. And some of you still don't believe me. Because I myself too was trapped by the same misconception about me. I almost believed them. Until one day I was introduced to myself. And that introduction came from God, the Creator. He introduced me to myself, a self I never knew. As a matter of fact, when I met myself, I was afraid of me. Because that was not the self they told me existed. As a matter of fact, they told me, don't ever think of yourself as that self. You are not that. And so I battled this demon of self-devaluation, self-humiliation, self-cancellation. What a battle you face. And this has been the plight of all third world people.